Welcome back to Car Auto Tune-Up. The first thing you notice when the 2026 Mazda RX-9 rolls into view is that it looks like it's been sharpened in the wind tunnel and sculpted in an artist's studio at the same time. The front has this predatory gracia. Mazda's evolved Kodo design language here has less flowing elegance and more controlled aggression. The hood is long, with subtle creases that lead your eyes toward the grille, which is a darkened, slim trapezoid framed by ultra-thin adaptive LED headlights. Those lights have a distinctive L-shaped daytime running pattern, instantly recognizable, almost like a signature scrawl in the air. The bumper is split by a lower intake that feeds air to both the engine bay and the brake ducts. You can see the influence of motorsport here. Everything has a purpose, but it still manages to look gorgeous. From the side, it's all about balance. The proportions are perfect for a rear-wheel drive sports car. Short overhangs, a long hood, and a slightly set-back cabin. The beltline rises just enough toward the rear fenders to give it that muscular crouch, like it's pushing against an invisible resistance. The 20-inch forged alloy wheels are wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires, and the brake calipers are available in red, black, or a daring gold to peek through, letting you know this car is not just about looks. The door handles sit flush with the bodywork, popping out when you approach, and a subtle black side skirt adds both a visual and aerodynamic edge. Swinging around to the back, you get that delicious combination of nostalgia and innovation. The twin circular LED taillights nod to the RX-7's classic rear view, but now they're set into a more sculpted, layered tail design. The integrated ducktail spoiler flows straight from the body rather than being tacked on, and the bumper houses dual exhaust tips that sit wide apart for a more planted visual stance. The diffuser is functional, channeling air out from underneath the car, and there's a soft mesh insert that hints at hidden aero work going on below. Step inside, and you immediately sense the RX-9 is built around the driver. The steering wheel is slightly smaller than average, perfectly round, with tactile, solid-feeling paddle shifters tucked behind, though purists will rejoice to see that a proper manual gear lever is still the centerpiece of the lower console. The gauge cluster combines a central rotary tachometer with a high-resolution digital display on either side, feeding you performance data, navigation, and hybrid system information in real time. Materials are thoughtful. Alcantara wraps the dashboard top and door inserts for grip and reduced reflections, while stitched leather covers the seats, with optional contrast piping to match the exterior paint. Mazda even engineered the seating position to be 20 mm lower than the RX-8's, bringing your hips closer to the car's center of gravity for better connection. The pedals are drilled aluminum, perfectly spaced for heel and toe downshifts. Storage space, let's just say it's enough for a weekend getaway. This isn't a hatchback, so you'll pack smart. Under the hood now, fire it up. The moment the start button is pressed, you hear a whirring note that rises quickly into the familiar, almost turbine-like rotary hum, only this time, it's joined by a subtle electric motor whine. The new dual-rotor 1.6-liter rotary engine pairs with a compact electric motor integrated into the transmission housing, delivering instant torque at low revs while letting the rotary scream past 9,000 revolutions per minute when you're pushing hard. Total system output, around 365 horsepower in base spec, with a rumored high-performance trim cresting over 430. Power is sent to the rear wheels through either a 6-speed manual or an 8-speed dual clutch, depending on your choice. Out on the road, it's the steering that surprises you first. Light, but full of feel. The RX-9 turns in eagerly, with almost no body roll, thanks to a combination of adaptive dampers and Mazda's new Sky Active Chassis Plus platform that uses more aluminum in the subframes to cut weight. The hybrid torque vectoring system is subtle, but you can feel it helping rotate the car mid-corner. Acceleration is instant from a stope and the electric motor fills in the Rotary's natural low-end torque gap, and once you hit 5,000 revolutions per minute, the Rotary's whale takes over, rising and rising until you're near the red line and snicking the shifter into the next gear. Braking is just as confidence-inspiring, with massive 6-piston front calipers biting into carbon ceramic rotors on higher trims. There's virtually no fade, even after repeated hard stops, and the pedal modulation is beautifully predictable. Mazda clearly wants this to be a driver's car that can hold its own on track days but still be livable for the daily commute. And yes, fuel economy isn't its main selling point. The Rotaries are thirsty by nature, but the hybrid system helps here. You're looking at somewhere around 28 miles per gallon combined if you keep things reasonable, which is respectable for a car of this performance level. Pricing is still unconfirmed, but whispers suggest the base manual model will come in just under $75,000, with the high-spec trim brushing $90,000 fully loaded. That plants it firmly in battle with the Supra, Nissan's Nismo, and even the base Porsche Cayman. But the RX-9 brings something none of those have, a rotary heart, and that alone could make it the halo car Mazda's been missing since the RX-7 left showrooms. So, after spending a day with this machine, both standing still and in motion, it's hard not to be a little smitten. It's rare to see a manufacturer commit to something as unique, as risky, and as downright romantic as reviving the Rotary in a world obsessed with SUVs and EVs. The RX-9 feels like Mazda's love letter to enthusiasts, signed with a flourish and sealed with the howl of a high-revving Wankel. It's not perfect, the rear visibility could be better, storage is limited, and the Rotary still isn't going to be as bulletproof as a naturally aspirated inline-six, but none of that matters when you find yourself carving through a mountain road, the tach needle dancing, the steering alive in your hands, and that soundtrack filling the cabin. As the sun sets and you park for the last time today, you glance back at the RX-9, you see the history in its shape, the promise in its details, and the thrill in what it can do. This isn't just a car, it's a statement, a reminder that driving can still be about emotion, not just efficiency. If Mazda delivers exactly what's been promised here, the RX-9 could be remembered not just as the car that brought the Rotary back, but as one of the most rewarding sports cars of its generation. And I, for one, cannot wait for the keys to be mine again. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you're the first to know when we get this thing out on track for a full, unfiltered test. Until then, keep your revs high and your spirits higher.